All right. Good morning, everyone, and sorry for the little technical problem we had at the beginning. So my name is Maud Lebars. I'm the lady on that picture with an alumni from Mercedes in Delhi, one of our partners. So I'm a French national, married with one son. I'm passionate about traveling about India, and an alumni from Rennes School of Business. I graduated in 2004 from Master in Management, and I'm now the representative of Rennes School of Business in India for the past 6 months, and I'm very happy to have been invited today to speak about studies in France, studies abroad, studies in France, and the possibility to study in Rennes School of Business. So I've just about my background. I've worked at the FAO, UN organization in Roma. I've worked for P&G in different countries in Europe. I was the HR manager in different countries. I worked at Total Oil Company in Paris. I worked for Adecco in New Zealand. And I fell in love with India 6 years ago. I worked 4 years as a GM and HR group manager for Shanti Travel, a travel agency in Delhi. And now, so I'm based out of Bangalore as a representative for Rennes School of Business in India. So that's it about me. So I will be more than happy to provide more information about Rennes, about studies in France, about all this for any one of you if you need. And it will be easy to contact through the team joining campus, whom I really thank for the opportunity to make this presentation today. Okay, next. All right. Just the first thing, before even considering going to France, we have to provide some elements about the advantages for students to go overseas. That's not always so easy to convince the parents or convince themselves of the advantage versus going through a good university in India. So there are plenty of them. The exponential opportunities for work, especially if they choose a place that has the possibility for work permits behind after graduating from an institution. But if only this would be important, I think international exposure would be a great asset for anyone. So compared to many universities in India, the universities that are welcoming students abroad, often they do have a lot of nationalities represented, so that's already enriching a lot versus studying in India. And if not for this, already just the fact that they would be themselves feeling as a foreigner in another country will help them learn a skill that is very valuable nowadays in MNCs here in India. The capacity to adapt, the capacity to be able to work with different cultures. That means if they have to work in the import-export, but also just working with different cultures, that's a big advantage because they would have experienced that themselves. It's the opportunity to add extra skills. That would be language, for instance. Of course, it's easier to learn a pure French if it's for France, or a good English if you learn it in a country where it's the mother tongue. But it could be many other things. The capacity to they can learn a lot of things because they would be probably going to a country where not everything would be organized for them. They will have to figure out things on their own. So that's a very good element. Self-confidence would come also, and open-mindedness and tolerance. Now, why studying in France? That's a big question. There are many good reasons for deciding to go to France instead of many other countries. But I would say first, it's not even mentioned here, but Nowadays, with the US and the UK getting less and less attractive, less and less open to foreigners, going to France makes a very good is a very good move. We do have among the best institutions in the world. You may have heard about HEC or ISEC or INSEAD. They are among the top 10 management institution in the world. They are in France, and France is a very small country compared to India, for instance, or compared to the US. So imagine having among the, I think it's even among the top 7, 3 institutions in France, means that the rest of the institutions are very competitive on the worldwide level. So we have a lot of schools that are at worldwide standards, a lot of schools that are Triple Crown, for instance. Overall, the level of the institution will be pretty good. Also, a great quality of life. I've mentioned on this slide the Festival de Cannes, that I think everyone must know, the Eiffel Tower, the Mont Saint-Michel. These are the kind of landscape, the kind of sightseeing you can find, but it gives an idea of the glamour. It gives an idea also of the kind of heritage you can find in France. It gives an idea also about the beautiful nature and outdoor activities you can have in France. So they can expect a great quality of life. I'm not mentioning food as well, because for Indian students, most of the time that's not what they love the most about the country. But anyway, some of them may find a very interesting gastronomic element, but that's another attractive element. I think the one that would be among the most important would be the fact that they would have access to the whole Schengen area. Schengen area, UK is not part of it, but so many other countries are. So France has been at the foundation of the European Union, with first the cooperation between Germany, Luxembourg, and France, and it has spread out among so many countries now. So that means that they would have access to travel, but also to do an internship, and if they work, also they would have access as a work on a work permit to all those areas. So that's a great advantage. We're talking about the biggest economical area in the world, the whole European Union and Schengen area itself. So that's a big advantage. And I would say nowadays, the big plus of going to France for Indian students especially is that the two countries have strategic ties. Especially France has considered India from the beginning of this of 2016 as a strategic partner. So all the lights are green for Indian students to come. So the objective of the French government is to get plus 100% student visa by 2020 for Indian students. They have just offered the 2-year work permit after studies. So in reality, it's 1 year plus 1 year. You can anyway stay 1 year after mastering from graduating from master or PhD. You can stay a year just for the sake of looking for a job, and in total you can stay 2 years. We do have example of our ex-students, alumni that are managed to stay longer, and there are different ways of doing that. Anyway, for everyone, as long as you got a master or a PhD from an institution in France, you get 5 years T visa or B visa, a 5 years short-term visa for you and your family. When I say that, it's not your parents, but we're talking about spouse and children. So that means that after graduating for 5 years, you can come as much as you want, as many times as you want, I would say, for a maximum of 3 months a time or 90 days a time. And that means if you're deciding to start a business or if you're with a company, working with a company in India who wants you to travel extensively to Europe to develop the business, then you have a clear advantage here. But it's not the only thing. You have many other ways of using this advantage of studying in France and graduating from a French institution. For instance, if you want to start to do a startup, and we have some of our alumni who did that. So French Tech visa is there and can provide you also 2 years of work permit. But you can also start your company once you're studying, and you can get yourself also the possibility to stay longer. And if not, anyway, there are so many French companies in India that would be so happy to welcome you. I could show you an interview I made from the lady in charge of employment service from the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce in India. Her name is Sapna Verma, and she's testifying of the growing trends of French companies in India interested in recruiting students who did their studies in France, not necessarily speaking French, though it's of course an age, but she was mentioning that in so many sectors, she was seeing a lot of interest in hiring Indian students who studied in France. We're talking about luxury, we're talking about banking, we're talking about retail, especially food and beverage. We're talking about HR, we're talking about what she was mentioning, consulting. A lot of companies also want simply to have a representation office in India. So they would be ready to hire someone to look after their development and their business development in India. You also have a lot of companies who just simply look for people that have, this capacity to work with different cultures, to do business development, for instance, or simply who are considering the level of the institutions that they can find in France quite attractive, or the training quite attractive. I'll come to what Rennes School of Business provides in this, because it's very difficult to get general information about that. What I can tell you is that it's getting better and better. About Rennes School of Business, I would be happy to take some questions, by the way, if you have. You can write them down, I think, on the webinar, and I will try to answer whenever I get them. So, Rennes School of Business. Why should someone choose Rennes School of Business instead of another school in France when they finally consider going to France, which I really think is a very good move for Indian students nowadays? I'm not going to show you the dean, but these are many reasons, because we are a truly global institution, and our masters are fully taught in English, because of the recognized quality of our diplomas, because of the advantages of living in Rennes, because of our varied range of programs, because of the fantastic prospects it provides. Okay, so first, when we think about studying in France, we said, oh, but I should be knowing French to go there. I shouldn't have had a good level in French to manage to study there. But it all depends on what you really want to achieve. Indeed, if you really want to work long-term in France afterwards, then it's a good idea to learn some French, at least a little bit, just as a start. I'm just saying that because as we have checked with our alumni, Indian alumni, who managed to stay in France, only 10% of them were fully fluent in French when they managed to find a job. So that's a tiny part. The rest of them, they just have a little bit of French level, enough just to manage to network. They adapted to this necessity from French people. A lot of them do speak English, but they just appreciate when you do a little effort to make it to show that you understand the culture and that you have an interest with the culture. So that's one thing. But anyway, if what you're looking for is to be able to work, to get a master of a very good level and find a place in any MNCs or in a job that is international anywhere in the world, this is a very good idea to go to Rennes, because we are truly global. I'll just show you why. So we have 4,330 students, and 50% of them are non-French, and they represent 70 nationalities. 70 nationalities. That means that in the same school, in the same classroom, you may be sitting, okay, there will be French people, of course, which, I mean, is already a way of getting confronted to someone that is very, truly different. But also, you may be sitting next to a Russian, next to a Colombian, next to someone from Lesotho, next to someone from Korea, next to someone, I mean, you will have this kind of possibility of you know, acculturation and global element. We are quite big. We have 4 campuses in Rennes and 1 campus in Rabat. This is the staff that we have, and more important, 82 core faculty members. It's now 36 nationalities. I didn't show you the latest one. We just hired a few new teachers and a few new professors, sorry. And it's not anymore 85% of them, of the faculty members that are non-French, is 90% of our faculty members that are non-French, and 90% of them holding a doctorate or PhD. So that means that already just with the faculty members, you will get this global aspect. So, and that means also that we clearly can guarantee that all of our classes will be in English, fully in English. So that's at master level, at PhD level, of course. All right, which means that afterwards, once you have managed this this master, you can work anywhere in the world. And we do have people, Indian alumni that are working, some in Canada, some in New Zealand, some in Dubai, a lot of them around Europe. It's about 40% of our students from India who are still working abroad now. They chose, like the Netherlands, for instance, they chose Germany. Some of them went to the UK. I mean, this is the kind of capacity you have. Okay, these are our partner universities in India. So that means that we do know a lot about the Indian universities. We do have a strong partnership with them. All right. Another reason for going to Rennes School of Business is that we are a truly we are a school that really is considering excellence as a keyword. We were ranked 35th in the Financial Times this year for our Master in Management, and we have the 3 accreditation: EQUIS, ASCSB, and AMBA. That means we are among the 1% institution in the world who have managed that kind of level of quality. So that's a guarantee of getting a truly global level of institution for management and business. All right. Just about the history of the school, we were created in 1990. And we were created by what we call the Rennes Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It was a group of entrepreneurs who just were looking for skills that they were not easily getting locally, especially international skills, because Brittany is very much is a region of entrepreneurs. It's surrounded by harbors, and so it's a region that is very much from the very beginning focusing on international, on export and import. So clearly international exposure was what they were expecting from the people trained by Rennes School of Business. So from the very beginning, this in 1990, the school was starting to get this unique perspective of getting as many as they can, they could, the teacher, the professors, as many as they could, coming from abroad, and as many partnership with universities around the world, and as many as possible students coming from abroad to the school. So the 90% of faculty members that are non-French with 36 nationalities is something that is pretty unique, not even in France, but around the world, and that really would give an edge to the students that are coming to get their master from us. As an alumni, I can tell you that I've had no major difficulties to adapt to different kind of cultures. I've worked in different countries in Europe where we already have quite a lot of diversity. I've managed to hold a very good job in New Zealand, and very quickly also in India. I got very high-level jobs, and I strongly believe it's because of the kind of exposure I got from the school, Rennes School of Business, when I was studying there. So this is something you will not see straight ahead, I guess, but along your career, you'll be able to figure out the big advantage you got by staying in this kind of school. All right, it's also ranked in the top 10 in France, which means a big deal when we know the level of competition we have in France at the management and business schools. Regarding our infrastructure, so we currently have 4 campuses in Rennes, and there is a 5th one that is that's going to open in early September, where we're going to have a PG on site, especially for international students. There will be about 200 rooms available there for international students. It's a very modern and high-tech campus. I want to mention specifically the trading room, the Bloomberg trading room that is over there. We have a creative lab, we have an incubator where we have currently 1 or 2 Indian students who are incubating right now, and some of them just left and have their company started. So that's a great facility to have. We'd have 2 sports halls, and why I'm mentioning that is because the school from the very beginning was very much involved in sport management. There is, for instance, a big national competition with about, I've heard there were 400 cars, vintage cars, going to Sahara every year. That's called 4L Trophy. So it's a big competition that's happening every year. It was there already incubated and started from the school, from Rennes School of Business, before 2004, and it's still there today, and it has grown to what I'm mentioning, 400 cars a year. So that's a big thing, and that's developed by the school students. So that means that really the school has this kind of innovative and facilities for sports management. So sport is very important. So we do have 2 sports halls, and we do also welcome professional athletes with a specific schedule for them, so that they can both train and do their studies at the same time. Just this said, I cannot tell you that someone who is very much into cricket would find something there, because that cricket is not really so much in use in France, I would say. But if you're into handball, basketball, football, of course, badminton, all the things you can find, all the things you need in Rennes, and especially in Rennes School of Business. We do also have golf. The city is pretty much sport friendly, and the school especially is very sport friendly. There are a lot of students club, there are a lot of association. It's very lively. I was there last week And I can tell you that there were not an evening without something happening organized by the students. So for Indian students, that's a great advantage because they can get easily integrated if they go to um, one of those parties, one of those events. Yeah. So then one of the advantages of Rennes School of Business is that it is part of the region of Brittany. These are the few screenshots of what the region is. So beautiful landscape, as I said, heritage cities turned in front of the ocean. It's a very dynamic economic environment. Just the city of Rennes, for instance, when I was there in 2004, there were 300,000 people living there. They just had started, for past 2 years, they had started the metro in the city. And now there are 2 lines of metro. It's also now 800,000 people living there, which can seem like a village for Indian perspective, but at the level of France, it's the 5th city in France. So it's a very dynamic. You see the growth was quite big. A lot of people just nowadays leave Paris to go to those kind of cities that have a much better quality of life. So the company is starting to spread out their headquarters and not keeping them necessarily in Paris. So that's quite an advantage. But anyway, if you're afraid of losing it to Paris, now by train, Rennes is 1.5 hours away from Paris. Since January 2017. You have train every 45 minutes to get into the city of Paris, the city center. But you also have direct trains to Roissy, the international airport. But you don't need necessarily to go to Paris to go around and travel, because Rennes is having an international airport itself, one that is more specifically on the European, connecting to the European cities around, like for instance London, Dublin, which is 1 hour far, Barcelona, Madrid, Lisbon, Malaga. You can go to Brussels, you can go to Germany, you can go to Amsterdam from Rennes. So many options are available there. It's also a very dynamic city. It's the first touristic region for tourism. So it's absolutely gorgeous, as you saw the pictures. And I think the main symbol of that is that Mr. Abhishek Bachchan itself got a house in Brittany. He didn't choose any other place, he chose Brittany itself. So I think that says it all about the beauty of the place. And indeed, the kind of tourism you will get some pretty, popular tourism. So it's affordable for most of them, but also a lot of luxury one, but not the bling bling kind. People will not show off, but there are really people with a lot of money coming to those coasts, because you can get like a full island for yourself. You can get beautiful this can be available. It's also a very dynamic city, a very dynamic region, sorry, in terms of nightlife. It's the first region for the number of bars and discotheques in France. So clearly, if someone is afraid of being in a small city, well, do not worry too much, because you will get whatever you need if you want to have some fun. The city of Rennes itself is also very interesting, because there is a strong student population. 30% of the inhabitants are students. A lot of them are international. Rennes has been renowned for its quality of life. It was but